EB5 is about American prosperity.
The European Union is now looking at more economic benefit versus passive investment.
That's why we receive so many awards around the world as a best residency program.
Good afternoon. My name is Alexander Kush, and here we are at the Globe Visa podcast of Meeting the Pros. Today we have an exciting opportunity to sit down with Slava Apel, the CEO of Startup Visa Services Canada. Slava, it's a great honor to have you here.
Thank you.
And thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to have this little conversation with us about Canada and about the Startup Visa program. Before we kick into the technicalities and the process of the Startup Visa program, I wanted to just backtrack and talk a little about the history. So can you tell us, why did Canada launch this program and what was the rationale behind it?
Sure, and thank you for the invitation. Canada has a good history of having residency by investment programs started and became very popular with the Quebec investment program, which after a huge popular demand ended up closing down for about 5 years to be reopened later. We had immigrant invest program that cost over $1 million afterwards, very quickly sold out. It was dominated by one nationality and it was closed down again. So we had a gap in years of around 2010 for a new immigrant investment-based, residency-based, business-based programs. So in 2013, they opened up a program called Startup Visa. They borrowed the concept actually from US. US had it it didn't pass their Senate. It was Senator Kelly that introduced it, but just didn't pass. So Canada borrowed that concept, made it a lot better. In US, they wanted companies to invest $500,000 right away. Canada's program said, we will not need any investment, do whatever is logical for your business. So in 2013, they launched a program, and for the first 5 years, it was a pilot program, federal program that said you can move anywhere in Canada except for the province of Quebec, which is a French-speaking province in Canada, and the qualifications were very minimal. I'll cover them in a second as well. So in 2013, they launched it. 5 years later, Government of Canada reviewed the program, who it was bringing. It was bringing smart individuals, it was bringing professionals, and 5 years later, it made it a permanent program, which we were very happy about. We were already very active in that program, bringing a lot of wealthy investors, bringing in entrepreneurs to Canada to take advantage of that program. So it filled a very good gap. We had provincial programs, meaning territorial-based programs that required a lot from the entrepreneur versus a true startup, someone with a great business idea could come to Canada and say, hey, I would like to open up the business, and through that, I would like to get a direct pathway to permanent residency. So it's a pathway to permanent residency by introducing a new business idea to Canada.
So tell me a little bit, startup visa, what does that look like for an applicant? What does that really mean, startup? It could mean a lot of things. What kind of startups are we looking at? What capital amount? Who can you bring as a family? What's the structure of this program?
I actually wish they didn't call it startup with the word visa, because most people think visa is a temporary status.
Exactly.
And yet startup visa as a concept exists in 20 other countries. Japan has it, Italy has it, lots of countries have startup visa, but truly startup visa in other countries means 3 or 5 year temporary work visa. Canada is completely different. It's the only country that offers it as a direct pathway to permanent residency. So whoever is the primary applicant, husband or wife, can say, I would like to open up the business in Canada, and their dependent children under age of 22 would also qualify under exact same umbrella of startup visa to come to Canada. More than that, because people are waiting to be approved for permanent residency, they can wait in their own country or they can come to Canada under work visa while they're waiting for their permanent residency. The program has seen huge amount of success. If we pick from the year 2014 for the next 10 years, so for the first 10 years of the program, over 80% of the people that had their business letter of approval, called a letter of support, issued to them, and once their application was reviewed, so 80% of those people received the status of permanent residency. Majority of them have not even landed in Canada yet, have not started their businesses yet. It was truly based on the business proposal. So from that business proposal to permanent residency, there was a smooth experience for them.
So that's important. So actually it doesn't have to be, for example, an existing startup, but it could be in that theoretical stage, as you mentioned, where you submit the application and then you can receive the residency.
I consider it not residency by investment, not citizenship by investment. It is truly residency by proposal.
Residency
You
by
are
proposal.
brand new term for the industry. Residency by proposal. You're proposing that you're going to do something great in Canada. You are providing all of the documentation, all of the research, all of the local partner details, all of the marketing ideas, your future hiring plan, your full business plan. You're providing everything to signify to Government of Canada you're ready to deploy the business. Now, if you already have a business that you would like to expand to Canada, that will work as well. You're saying, in my country, I have a business A, and I want to expand it to Canada. You can also say, during my travels through Korea, through Japan, wherever you're traveling to, I've seen a great business and I would like to replicate it in Canada. So it doesn't even need to be your business idea. You are saying, I know that I can bring value to Canada. I know that I can invest into that startup. I can start that startup. I can operate that startup. And through that, how most people are getting their residency through business proposal.
Right. So tell me, I mean, it sounds like a very complex process. I mean, creating this proposal, especially for the Canadian government to review. How is someone like you, your firm, I mean, how can you assist and really streamline this process? For example, if I wanted to emigrate to Canada with a business proposal, I mean, how could you really help out in that sense?
So, statistically speaking, if someone would not be using a consultant or feet on a ground type of service, it had a very, very slim chance of getting in. So who is approving those businesses? That's where the key to this entire pathway. Government of Canada said, well, we are not there to judge whose business is good or not. And because of that, they gave the right to judge to the local business associations, such as incubators, which are like accelerators, angel investment groups, and venture capitalists. So venture capitalists understands how to read a term sheet. Venture capitalists understands how to read a business plan. Same with angel groups. They do that multiple times per month in their group setting. So there is a lot of people that understand how to review whether this business is going to survive or not. My experience, that's what I bring to the table. I worked in all three levels. I work in venture capital firms, in angel investment groups, and in incubators. And through that, I've gained the experience on how to properly put that presentation in order for it to be approved. To give you an example, in my tenure for 2 years in one of the most popular angel investment groups in Canada, my job was to review every applicant, to interview them, to look at all of their financials, and it was my choice and my decision whether I would issue to them that business letter of approval called letter of support. My statistics, I would say, were pretty rough on people. For every 300 applicants, I would only approve one.
Wow. So you're on the other side of the
I
table.
was on the other side saying,
equation.
no one is good enough to come to Canada. You are not ready. Your presentation is not ready. Your projections, you don't have enough research about Canada. So I was really the person that was denying people. Now I'm on another side. I know the reasons why the application could be denied. And because of that, out of my last 300 applications that I have put through, all 300 went in.
Wow.
All 300 got approved. Now, I've been doing that for many years, so we know exactly how to put that proposal package together in order for it to be approved. Some Government of Canada statistics. For example, in 2017, there is over 8,500 people that apply for investment through venture capital or through the angel investment route. Out of them, only 1/8 got to presentation, a quarter of those got to the funding review stage, and only about 40 of them, from 8,000 people or 8,000 companies, not even people, ended up getting to the level of getting to the letter of support or that business approval letter. So now we're on the other side. 100% of people that we're working with end up getting their businesses approved.
Wow. So tell me, so you guide the whole process from A to Z. You can assist the client in preparing the plan, guiding the whole business structure, submitting, everything is done A to Z.
Exactly. So it all starts with, once we get on initial call with the candidate, we ask them, what did you do in the past? What would you like to do in the future? And we structure the entire business proposal based on their past and whatever they want to do in the future. If they were in engineering, they're going to continue in engineering career. If they were a doctor, well, they cannot be a doctor right away in Canada. They need to recertify, but there would be in some sort of a medical some sort of medical business. So we are looking to make sure that it is relevant of what they did in the past towards what they're proposing to be doing in the future. We help them fine-tune those ideas. Sometimes They don't know that this product is already exists in Canada or this service is already existing in Canada. So before we put the full application, we do full research on Canadian marketplace to make sure that it is relevant for that person and it is also relevant as innovation for Canada.
So tell me a bit about the nationality breakdown. Are there any restrictions? I mean, who can apply for this program? And from where have you been getting the bulk of demand?
So I like this question because Canada has no restrictions on nationalities. Wow. I have processed from everyone, from Nigeria, from China, from Vietnam, from India, from Pakistan, from Iran, from Russia, from Zimbabwe, from everywhere. Now, statistically speaking, when this program first started, majority of the applicants were coming from Vietnam. So 17, at that point, that was a big bulk of people. 17% of the applicants came from Vietnam. A few years later, this program became very popular in Iran. So in the last 3 years, over 30% of all of the approved applicants are from Iran. When the war broke out between Russia and Ukraine, we saw a big burst of applications from Belarus, from Kazakhstan, from Russia, from Ukraine that were coming, which were about 10% of the applicants. Right now, and we're sitting here at the beginning or mid of 2025, a big thing happened. At the end of last year of 2024, Donald Trump, the new or re-elected president of the United States, has happened, and that completely shifted who we are speaking to. Prior to Donald Trump being elected, only 5% of our clients were from America. Americans love Canada, but they also love many other countries.
Rightly so. Yeah.
Right after he was elected, half of our business, 50% of all the applicants are coming from America. Wow. Americans are running, and they're running to nearshore, to Canada. We have a better healthcare system. We have a better taxation system. We have a better schooling system. Safer country by far, and a lot better for their wealth planning long term. Once they retire, we don't have the taxes that Americans have imposed upon them.
So tell me a little bit more about the residency process itself. So initially, does the client get a temporary residency and then there's a pathway to permanent residency? What does that time frame look like? Are there any requirements of residency within Canada? Obviously, any obligations for the client, taxes and as such. And the big question is there that pathway to citizenship?
Answer is yes. So it is a multi-step but very quick process. Upon the person applying, the first stage is to get their business approved. Second stage is get their permanent residency approved. Once they get their permanent residency approved, if they spend 2 out of 5 years in Canada, they requalify for their permanent residency. However, if they spend 3 out of 5 years, they get to citizenship.
Oh, wow. So we skipped the whole...
So the pathway to citizenship is rather fast. Once you're naturalized in Canada, 3 out of 5, any 3 out of 5. So imagine a scenario where someone is there for 10 years, they qualify first period for 2 years, second period. But if we can calculate the 3 years, any adjacent within a 5-year period, they qualify for citizenship.
Wow.
Now, Canadian resident has exact same rights as a citizen, except for one, they cannot vote. Same rights to free healthcare, great education, all of our public services that are available, they can work. They cannot travel with that residency card. However, it gives them many other advantages within Canada.
But that's great. So, I mean, you could have someone's children studying there. You could have someone's parents, taking advantage of the incredible healthcare system.
Right. And speaking of children of the applicants under this program get a very special treatment. Right. Because under this program, you can apply for permanent residency, but you can also get yourself an open work permit. Most of the major universities in Canada will treat the children of the applicants as local students, domestic students, instead of international fees. What it means in money? If someone's child is coming to a university to study and to get an engineering degree, it could cost them in Canadian dollars close to $200,000 as an international student. However, as a local student, you get a lot of discount. It is closer to $47,000. That's over $150,000 in savings just on that status.
Wow. So
per child.
Per child. So for multi-family applicants, I mean, just on the education fees, you're going to even make money with the program. They're going to recoup their investment into business and be in net income. Well, speaking of that, let's talk a little bit about the pricing and the cost. I mean, what are we looking at for let's say a family of 4? main applicant with a spouse and 2 kids, I mean, they're interested in applying. I mean, what are they looking at in terms of investment and et cetera?
When I looked around through all the programs that are available on the marketplace, Canada is actually very reasonable. In the past, Canada had 2 very good programs. One was Quebec Investment Program with over $1 million in an investment that you had to do for multiple years and bringing over over $2 million with you as well. We had a second Immigrant Invest Program that was over $1 million. Which, again, that was just the first investment after you have to invest into your employees and your business. We had provincial programs that required, depending on what province, you have to put in $500,000, you had to hire people, so it cost over $1 million as well. This program costs a fraction of that. And it is for the full family. Unlike, let's say, some of the Caribbean countries where it is per family member, so that's for an entire family. What you're investing into is in your business structure. You're investing into your business. You're investing into establishing yourself in Canada. Now, the fees are whatever is logical for that business. If you are going to open up a manufacturing business, you're going to need millions of dollars behind you in order for you to buy the equipment, in order for you to lease the property or build out the property. If you were to open up more of a consulting business, you need very, very little money. What I tell people is budget anywhere from $250,000 to $1 million just to give yourself a range of the money that you should have available for this program and for this business.
And tell me, what is the document requirement, list? There's an applicant, similar to the Caribbean programs, it's good that you brought it up. Is there a very rigorous check, obviously, on the source of wealth, on the background documents? What can a client expect, especially if they're coming from, let's say, a high-risk country, a nationality where it's difficult to move funds and et cetera? Is there any assistance that Canada provides? Is there any flexibility of that sort?
So this is business migration. This is not residency by investment. This is not citizenship by investment. And because of that, the only funds that you are obliged to prove are absolutely minimal. For the family of 4 in American dollars, you're looking just to prove for residency around 20,000 American dollars.
Wow.
For the family of 5, $25,000. So we're not talking about huge funds in order for them to start proving. So if they have the rest of their money in real estate, in gold, in Bitcoin, crypto, in investments, in let's say, in public stock markets, it's okay to show that you have that money as part of your future operating budget, but the only thing that you're required to prove is your minimal, it's called settlement funds, minimal required funds for you to start living in Canada. If the person wants to get a work visa, they just need to double that to show that they can support themselves while they're waiting here in Canada. What Government of Canada has done really right, so many countries or so many entrepreneurs, they don't keep money in their bank account in personal. They reinvest it into their businesses. They're making their money work for them. So for someone to show anything more than $25,000 means they're not really serious about their previous business.
And the government understands that.
Government understands that. More than that, government has a very interesting, frequently asked question directly on their website because they understand that they're dealing with entrepreneurs. And the main question that is on their website, it says, what happens to your permanent residency if your business fails? So you invested, you started the business, well, what if you had to shut it down? We have other programs outside of Starter Visa where that would be an effect on their migration path, but for the Starter Visa program, direct words from the Government of Canada website, it says, if your business fails, it does not impact your permanent residency. Meaning, if you decide to do something else, different business, if you want to change your career path, you are allowed to. Government understands they're bringing smart individuals to Canada.
And what about business support from the Canadian government? Once, for example, an applicant has their business set up, imagine it is struggling, is there any support that the Canadian government can provide? Perhaps some sort of loan, a tax break? Is there anything related to this program that is from the government side, some sort of subsidies that are available for these new residents?
Well, this is exactly how our company started. We didn't start out as the company working in the migration field. We're still not working in the migration field. We are working in the business expansion field. Prior to Government of Canada in 2013 announcing this migration path, we were helping Canadian entrepreneurs get access to government help and support. Government of Canada has over 4,000 government grants. That's free, non-repayable money. If you hire someone Just to give you an example, they'll give you money to train them, they'll give you money to hire them, they'll subsidize their efforts on working on new products, they'll subsidize the efforts of advertising or promoting the product to other countries. Out of 4,000 different grants, most businesses take advantages of government support. I have personally benefited from that as well. We also have a lot of government loans that are very inexpensive. Just about 3 months ago, I got a loan for advertising from government, from the Business Development Bank of Canada, BDC, for $100,000 for 0% for the next 7 years.
Wow.
So,
wow, that's incredible.
So it is anyone that wants to take a look at it, come by my office. I'll show you all of the documentation. 0% loans. So Government of Canada does help companies grow. Right now, even more so because there is some turmoil with our American neighbors. So Government of Canada is already saying, if you're impacted by that, we will help you. If you're struggling, we'll help you. We'll underwrite your receivables. We'll give you better loans. We'll support you. We'll give you advice. So Government of Canada is very much involved in helping businesses.
Well, that's great to hear. I mean, for anyone that's looking to do business in Canada and is definitely concerned about the liquidity of their business, any support they might receive, I mean, they can rest assured that the Canadian government has their full support.
Plus, by working with us, I work in those angel investment groups. I work in these venture capitalist firms. So if the government money is not enough, there is also private equity. There is other vehicles for them to help them capitalize their business.
Great. And what are you thinking about the future of this program? I mean, just in general, I mean, you can tell in our industry there's been a lot of changes. It's been quite a roller coaster for a lot of the programs. So perhaps some of the potential investors may be anxious about starting their journey to Canada. Perhaps the government might change their policy. I mean, do you foresee any changes in the government's approach to this program? And are there any risk to this program closing? I mean, you've mentioned it's been very successful. There's been a big amount of applicants. Is there any risk, to be buried under your own success?
Absolutely. No program is without risk. In this program, we have a new government as of about a week ago in Canada. They did say that they like business programs. They want to bring on more business or business support programs to Canada, but there is no such thing as permanency. We have had already 2 similar programs that were shut down in the past, but Government of Canada has done something very well about that. They've been good to those applicants. They would grandfather those applications. They would hold their, I would say, number in line. So just because the program is closed, it does not mean that they're going to throw away applicants that are currently in a queue. They've done it with Quebec Investment Program. They've done it with other programs as well, where even years after the program has been shut down, government honored those previous applicants, processed them. A lot of them, or most of them, ended up getting to their final goal, which is permanent residency. So whether the program will survive or not, I would say apply early, get your number in there. It's a limited number of people. Only about 1,000 families this year are allowed to be going through this path. It is not available. It is less than 1% of total Canada's immigration. So once the 1,000 seats fill up, you kind of have to wait until the next year to apply again. So once you apply, even if something happens to the program, at least you're in line, you're waiting for it. And plus, between our great organizations, between Glow Visa, between Startup Visa Services, there is enough guarantees, there is enough experience where we know how to protect your interest.
Well, if anyone's interested in the Startup Visa Services, make sure to reach out to us. Slava Apel, CEO of Startup Visa Services Canada. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and we look forward on building on our beautiful and strong partnership.
Thank you very much.
Between our 2 companies.
Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Make sure to like and comment below, and we'll see you soon.